took radio 38 years to access to 50 million people, but it took TV to access to 13 years to access to 50 million people. For internet, only 4 years. For Facebook, only 1 year. For Twitter, now it is X, only 9 months. What does it tell you? That means you don't have to come from a very special family, or you don't need to have a degree from a very special institution. If you have a dream, if you have a meaningful message, if you want to contribute, audiences are there. Maybe not beside you, but somewhere in other countries, in other part of the world.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Study Abroad podcast presented by the London School of Leadership, Investment and Technology. I'm your host, Nafis Alam. And today we are doing something different. We are going live with our audience and our guest. I've been hosting this podcast for over a year now, but this is the first time we decided to go live so that the podcast becomes more conversational. We are not just talking to our guest, we are talking with you, our live audience, for the first time ever. Throughout the session, you can drop your opinion and questions so that we can adjust this session according to your needs. We are live today on our LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook page. So feel free to drop your comment in whichever platform you're streaming in. Now let's get back to our today's agenda, which is the personal branding. You probably have heard of that phrase, your reputation precedes you. In today's hyper-connected world, that is very true. Your personal brand is your reputation, and it's doing the talking and making people hear about your activities even before you walk in that room. It's like your best friend cheering you up every time. So joining us today is someone who knows exactly how to help you shape that voice. He's my mentor and coach from my alma mater, and probably he's the main reason of me starting this podcast and other social media presence. I'm very delighted to welcome Dr. SMA Moin, reader in storytelling and brand communication at Queen Mary University of London. He is a leading expert in narrative branding, purposeful marketing education, and the power of personal storytelling in career development. He has published his book in Routledge and Palgrave Macmillan, and his work continues to influence thousands. So, Dr. Moin, welcome to this show. We are very, very delighted to have you here.
Thank you so much, Nafis. I'm also very delighted and very excited, happy to be present and having this opportunity to talk to you after a long time.
Right. The pleasure is absolutely mine that you have managed to come to this show. And I'm sure that this episode is going to be an all-around session for the audience as well. So today, whether you are hunting for your first job, gearing up to launch your own venture, or pushing for that long overdue promotion, this session is for you. So Dr. Moin, let's get the ball rolling. To begin with, I have quite many questions for you, but since you are here, you've been an expert of personal brand and brand storytelling. My question to you, what exactly is a personal brand? Some people think it's like a buzzword, but once we understand it, why does it matter so much, especially for the students, those who are recent graduates or trying to find their feet in the job market?
Okay, that's a very good question actually to start with. Let's take very simple way because that's easy to understand. Personal brand is actually, first of all, understanding who you are. So if you don't understand who you are, you will not be able to communicate to the world that who you are. So, and then you tell the story about yourself in a way that really represent who you are, and that makes a meaning. So, the Jeff Bezos says that your brand is something like what people say when you are not in the room. But then, if you are not telling your story, they might tell something different that you don't want, you don't want to associate that with yourself. That's why telling your story and telling to the world that who you are, not only by words, but by the person you become and by contributing, that is very, very important. If you want to put it into the context of how students are developing themselves and how they will find themselves into the job market or access into the job market, I normally ask a couple of questions to my student. First of all, I say that, well, what is your purpose? What is your dream? What is your vision? So these are some of the things that I can discuss in detail when we go forward and move our conversation. But having this clarity is very important. So the way I bring this idea to my students' brain is that they are not equal. Because if they believe that they are equal, that means they are going to be a commodity. What I let them believe is that they are unique. So they have a unique role into the world stage. Like Shakespeare said that all the world is a stage and all men and women are the players. They are playing their part. So every one of us into this world has a role to play. So personal brand is all about having that clarity that who I am, and then preparing myself into the service of humanity in the way I do it. And then in doing that, we tell our stories, sometimes through social media, sometimes through creating content, sometimes silently through our work. So this clarity that who we are and how we serve, that is very powerful for our personal growth. And having this understanding differentiates graduate or students from the crowd, and they can show that they are unique, they are bringing unique value to the company. That's why personal branding matters.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. That it's a very powerful word that you've used, that every person has a unique role and the personal brand will make them repeat their work over and over again. That creates an impression on the others, to our surroundings. So that hits the nail on the head. And one more thing that you have been speaking about over and over again is the imagination age, as term that honestly stopped me in my tracks. Could you really unpack that? What do you mean by the imagination age? What is the power of dreaming and how does it link back to building someone's personal brand?
Okay, so yeah, that's again another good question, because we are living in the imagination age now. Many people think that we are living in the information age, but that's not really very true. So imagination is a little different from the information age. But think about how we started our journey into this world. We started as a society of hunters. So we were living on hunting. We were telling how we survived, the stories of survival, sitting around fire. Then we discovered agriculture. So we started developing ourselves. We started settling in a village or in a place, creating a more stable society. So we got a skill on how to command the domestic animal and use them for the purpose of agriculture. Then you can see that our development, that we come to the industrial age. So first industrial revolution, second industrial revolution, third industrial revolution, fourth industrial revolution. The fourth industrial revolution is blurring the boundaries between the digital and physical world. And it's also our biological world. So it's collecting data, it's connecting us with people all around. So now the level of development has happened in every sector. Already, like say, driven by technological development, brought us into a position that we can dream anything and then we can also achieve anything. Because technology gives us the power. So if I tell you that we are not just waiting to live in the future, we are living in the future. And future has already come. With new realities are unfolding like magic at the intersection of science, technology, innovation, art, and aesthetic, fueled by our imagination, creativity, but also driven by the power of education, the power of technology. Right. So think about a research that was done by McKinsey, and they come to say that it took radio 38 years to access to 50 million people, but it took TV to access to 13 years to access to 50 million people. For internet, only 4 years. For Facebook, only 1 year. For Twitter, now it is X, only 9 months. What does it tell you? That means you don't have to come from a very special family, or you don't need to have a degree from a very special institution. If you have a dream, if you have a meaningful message, if you want to contribute, audiences are there. Maybe not beside you, but somewhere in other countries, in other part of the world. So imagination age gives you the power, the tools and technology so that you can dream or you can imagine anything and you can bring it to reality very easily. So this is your playground where your fantasies and imaginations can be reality. You just have to take part.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. I think the thing that you mentioned that with the help of technology, we have the whole world in the grasp of our hand, and there is a red carpet in front of us that we can use for our own good, for our own personal branding. And also it's unlike the previous era that you have to be featured by a TV channel, then you have to speak on your specific expertise. We have come a long way from that, and anyone or everyone can start their own personal branding using the social media to build on their expertise. So Dr. Moin, this sounds like climbing on a mountain for most of the mentees or the students or the fresh graduates. So, do you think where they should begin their journey, unless they want to start climbing the mountain with a flip flop, it will be better for them to hear about a roadmap or a framework that you recommend for them to have?
Yeah, that's again another good question, because if you have a roadmap or if you have a framework, it's easy for us to start. And then obviously I am a proponent of emergent strategy, which means you start something in the morning and you launch it at the evening, and then you understand what went wrong and you adjust your strategy. That is very powerful, because sometimes we believe in a classical strategy and we do everything and we take time and sometimes it doesn't work. Then it's too late. But yeah, we will approach with this classical strategy, but soon we will go live or we will launch something and we'll take feedback and the strategy will unfold. So having a roadmap is easy to start. So I normally say, I have a model, obviously, if you read my book, Storytelling in Marketing and Brand Communications, I've given a model. So let me just tell you. So I said everybody to start with their purpose. Because personal branding, as I told you, that you need to understand who you are first, and then you tell your story. And how do you understand yourself? First, you understand your purpose. What is your purpose? Purpose is like, say, it's not just about who you are, or say, it's far bigger than that. It's like how you can make an impact into this world. So this is something, your purpose, that why you are really born. What is your true talent that you can use and make a significant impact into the world and into the lives of the people around you. So second is the dream. So you got to have a clarity about purpose. Then you need to have a clarity about your dream. I'm using the word dream because dream has got connotation with the emotion rather than a strategy or rather than a vision. So dream is about, say, what kind of world you want to live in, or what kind of world you want to create for the people that you are going to serve. So it's kind of a long-term vision. The magic of dream is, so if you write your dream in a piece of paper, because dream is in your head, okay? So write it in your piece of paper and see every day. So the moment you write it in a piece of paper, the dream converts into a vision. Then what you do, try to make an equation. So you write timeline that when you want to achieve this vision, then it becomes a goal. And when you have a goal, you ask people. Many people have already achieved these goals that you can write, and they will tell you how to write. You read, you do your research. That becomes a strategy. Now you put the strategies against the goal, that how to achieve it, it becomes a plan. And you take action according to plan, you will see that dream becomes reality. That is the power of dream.
Right.
Then the third
Yeah, okay. Yeah, with that, my question arises, where did you start your personal branding journey? I'm sure that you had to start somewhere. If you just share that experience with us.
I mean, if you want to tell, when you say your journey or something like that, you need to start with the story. So, when I started my career, the concept of personal branding was not there actually, because I joined Bangladesh Navy in 1990s. You don't have internet at that time. Internet came a lot later, and communication was not very easy. And even in the military, there were certain rules and regulations that you can only connect people in certain way. So at that time, my purpose, like I find a purpose and meaning, because I thought that I will be dying for the country. Every soldiers, every sailor, every airman, every officer, work in the military, they have a desire that they can die in the battlefield, because one day you have to die. But if you can die for the country in the battlefield, that's the most meaningful thing. But then after 15 years, I found that, okay, that may not happen in my life, but Navy has prepared me with a lot of skills. And then, so I decided to use those skills into the real world. That was my starting point. So I left Navy voluntarily. I did my MBA at Strathclyde University in Glasgow. And then after the MBA, still internet was not very popular at that time, like it is. Facebook is just coming. And then I was really struggling to find a job into the industry, because my military experience, I was not very good at converting my military experience into a compelling story and convince the corporations. But eventually I found a job. So when I found a job, all the vulnerabilities, all the setbacks and how I bounced back, I used those as a plot, and I started telling my story. And people are interested because they want to understand not about success, but about how you overcome the setbacks. But when I'm working in the companies, I feel that at some point that the world is not a very good place. Countries are fighting against each other. And that really brings trauma into my mind. I want to see a world where there will be no kind of military, no fighting. All the monies, all the budgets will be spent on education, on food, on shelter, on security, because we have only one life, We might come from different countries, but we have only one planet. Maybe maximum you will live, say, 100 years, but then what? But I was so little to talk about it, and what to talk about convincing the leaders. So I thought that I will do something whereby I will contribute in the life of the future leaders, so that the future leaders, they can create an inclusive and safe world. And that was my decision to do a PhD and become an academic. And eventually I found my footing into the university. Now I write books, and that's my personal branding kind of thing. So anytime I write books, I think that my books or my publication, these are the the stairs, or these are the bridge where I meet with my audience. And I am so fortunate that every year I see around 400 to 500 students as I teach 2 or 3 modules every year at Queen Mary. And it is a wonderful opportunity to understand people coming from different parts of the world with different dreams, with different aspiration, purpose, how they want to make the world a better place. And it is an immense kind of feeling. Pleasure. A kind of fulfillment that I can contribute to their life. So that's kind of my journey.
Yes. Lovely hearing it from your own voice, because your journey is quite inspiring. You have mentioned this story of yours a couple of times during our lectures as well. Like you mentioned, at Queen Mary, we have students coming all over the world, and all of them have different stories. And a lot of people don't know how to resonate their stories or use that in personal branding. And with your story, I think that can inspire a lot of students, how they can relate it back to their personal journey or their expertise, carry their expertise in certain direction. So it's something that the personal branding stays with them, and it can really help them to gather it maybe in front of their interviewer or someone they're expressing themselves in a certain way. So my question naturally comes to you. Does storytelling feed into personal branding, and can it really tip the scales in a job interview or client pitch?
Yeah, definitely it works. But let me just very briefly finish the framework, because I think we were stopped at dream. So I say the third point is your values. That means your identity. So what you stand for. And fourth is the magic. That is what makes you special with your skill. And sixth is the next one is the audience, that the people you want to serve. So that was the model in brief. But if you want more discussion, we can do that. But now you are saying that how personal branding and how storytelling contributes to personal branding, and how it actually helps students or graduates to make a difference into the job interview. So that's really a very good question. So storytelling is basically communicating facts about you or giving statistics or showing them that you are the suitable person. I mean, if it is a job interview context, by selling your achievement, but doing it in a different way. You don't focus on the achievement or success. You focus on the conflict or the setbacks and how we overcome. So you bring a hero into the story, and audience will feel that, well, it is me, because it's not the likable hero, it's like us hero. So it's coming from ordinary world and then going through the challenges. So a story allows you to actually, as Aristotle said long time before, ethos, logos, and pathos. So you can, it's relatable because we use character and we take the character through various difficulties as well. Sometimes if say that, okay, my mother is to tell, so people can relate it because we have a connection with our mother. Then it gives logic, logos. That means you need to give, say, evidence so that it is believable, but also you communicate this thing with pathos, which is the emotion. And that's what matter. Because sometimes you see, if you just strike the mind or if you win the mind, it's not enough because the decision is taken in the heart. So emotion is very, very important. And through a storytelling is one of the best tools where you can inculcate emotion in a fascinating way. So now, you say that when you go to interview board, how you actually win the room. So think about two students. I often tell this thing actually, and I have actually written this thing in my book as well. So think about student Jojo and student Mojo, and they are appearing for an interview for a digital marketing executive position. And Jojo talks about his achievement that, okay, I got 80% mark. Then I have done this great work. So I have employed this kind of analysis, all those things. Now the interviewer asks that, okay, can you give us some social proof? Because we are living in the digital age and also in the age of social media, and everybody can see things about us, our contribution. And now he is struggling to give evidence. But now come student Mojo. And he said that, okay, you tell something. So Mojo was not focusing on what he knows, what is his expertise. He was telling that how he overcome the challenges, how he got better every single day, how he become a good person who can fit into the company's values and make a difference. So he said that, okay, there was a module and we were asked to make a podcast. We make a podcast and we did a video. And all of a sudden, I remember that my digital marketing tutor told me that upload this video on YouTube. So I upload the video on YouTube. I thought that everybody will see in the world, but no, it's only two of our grandmother they saw. I was very disheartened. I went to my, the tutor, and I said that, what can I do? And my tutor said, okay, change the thumbnail, maybe do something else. So he changed the thumbnail. He put a post in LinkedIn. He created a Facebook page, and he shared the link there. He eventually did the Instagram. So divided the video into small bits and started sharing there. So he started doing many things, and he's seeing that, experimenting that what works and what doesn't work. So eventually what he found that he became a content creator. He has a voice. He has a group of audience. He's giving something and they are commenting. So there is a virtual interaction, virtual conversation, and he is growing, his audience is growing. So this is where he found his identity as a content creator before he was graduated. Now when he tells this story, you tell me, who will you hire as a manager? So that is the power of storytelling in personal branding. Your every difficulties, I tell my students, look for setbacks, look for struggles as you journey, as you have your intellectual journey while you are studying. Because those struggle, those setbacks and how you overcome that, those are the plots of your study. You just don't have to celebrate your success and say, okay, this is what I achieved. You tell them that how you achieved that. And you convey a message for the audience that if they follow it, then they can also achieve this thing. That is the transformation. So a story shows transformation of the character, but also offer a message, invaluable message wrapped in emotion. So that is the power. So it is the art of communication that will help you win the board during interview.
Right. It makes sense. That's why they say fail early to walk towards your success. So, and I think this has a lot of impact to the audience as well. Like they could understand how powerful a personal narrative can be. I think especially when it shared its authenticity and the things that you've mentioned. If the student have been struggling with creating a personal brand, it naturally creates a good impression by the employer, like at least this person is trying to get to the spotlight. And of course, we have a lot of stories in our life, and we can pick and choose which one to spotlight. And even if the story is quite mundane or boring, you can make it Oscar winning script. I'm sure story has that kind of power. So Dr. Moin, is one thing is about painting a real picture. The thing that I
Yes.
mentioned, that you can create a story by using some of the anecdotes, maybe some sort of exaggeration, if I may say. So, as someone once put it, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So, that leads me to another big question. Many people feel a bit comfortable about promoting themselves. So, where's the line between building your personal brand or just bragging about?
I mean, you should know. I mean, some people they brag because I think that is not the right way of storytelling. Because as I told you, that storytelling is not about communicating your achievement or success. Storytelling is about showing your transformation. So if you are, say, already a very successful person, like say, think about, say, Elon Musk today. And if Elon Musk come and say that, okay, I'm the CEO of Tesla. I'm the CEO of so-and-so company. I'm the richest man in the world, and all those things. It's not a fascinating story. And he's not telling that as well. But if he says that, okay, I was coding, sitting in the sofa, and then even I had nights after nights, I was living in one place and I was focused on that. Maybe you talk about Steve Jobs. So Steve Jobs said that, it's talk about the vision or the struggle. So it's in a story, a story is like where you are and where you can go. And then you show the journey. So personal branding is not about bragging, but if you brag, that's not the right way of doing it. It's about being authentic and sharing your experience and trying to contribute. Yes, some culture, some people might see it as a bragging, but I would say that, well, everybody is unique. Everybody's journey can give us an invaluable lesson. So if they want to share it, there might be some people out there like them and they can be benefited. So come with a noble purpose that you want to make an impact. It's not about making yourself a celebrity, but it's about contributing to other people's life. So you come in from that perspective, then it should be fine. And then you be a humble person. And so that it's like, yeah, it's not about, say, you're focusing on your strength, rather how you overcome your weakness. So there is a subtle difference between bragging and personal branding. And most of the difference comes by your aspiration, that what you want to be. So that's why I said that dream. Is it that you want to be a very famous celebrity, or you want to empower many people, make some impact into their life? Right. Then you feel good, because at the end of the day, you will see it's your contribution that gives the pleasure, that gives the sense of purpose. Right. So yeah.
And Dr. Moin, what about the exaggeration that I have mentioned earlier? How do you think people can paint their, let's say it's a boring story, how they can paint it to make it presentable to the world?
So you learn how to tell a story, and say you see the conflicts and the setbacks as the nuggets of your story. And you deeply think about, because what happens is that we are not interested about ourselves most of the time. We are driven by others, say celebrities, the influencers, but we don't think about that, okay, God has given us the talent. Every single person has got the true talent inside us, but we have not unveiled what is that talent. This is what Ken Robinson says, the element. So if you ask Ronaldo to become, if Ronaldo's parent would ask Ronaldo to become a, say, cricket player, do you think that Ronaldo will be that great? Probably not, because football is his skill. So you have to find out your magic, and then you focus on that. So thing can be extraordinary if you can find magic, and if you say that, okay, how this mundane story actually helped me discover, say, setbacks, overcome, and ultimately find my magic, and I have used that. So think about, somebody is an artist, but If you ask that artist to become a football player, probably they will not be. So that's why I tell my students that explore as many things as possible, because you never know where your magic lies. But once you find your magic, purpose and the passion, and then you connect them, then you see that the story is coming. Think about your story. That was extraordinary story, and I told you that it is coming in my next book. So when I told you that in the class that, okay, what made you come to London to study brand management and say a marketing manager, you say a master's in marketing. And you told a very simple story, but it is so compelling. Let me tell it for your audience. So you said that, well, I come from a family and my parents, both of them were working, because without both of them working, it was a bit difficult for them to run the family. So there was a nanny and she is to look after me, and I thought that she is my second mother, because I could not see, because I had so much time with my nanny. I felt so good. But as Bangladesh breaking into a different era and garment industry started flourishing, every woman, they had a dream that they will work, they will earn, and they will be valued. And my nanny worked to work in a garments factory. And then the tragedy came, the Rana Plaza, and many people died. Their dreams shattered. The dreams that brought them there, the same dream actually get them away as a dead body. So I wanted to understand that these people working 7 to 7, so long hours, but only paid a very little amount, but they are creating products for the big brands across the world. Are not that big brands concerned about it? Why not they are creating pressure to the owners and making sure that these people have a better place to work? So I come here and want to see that how these brands are operating, and should there be a chance, I will ask them. So you see, this is a very normal story, but it's so powerful. It's so powerful. I mean, wherever I go, I tell this story, because this is when you tell a student story, it's even more powerful. I came from Academy of Marketing conference. I had a presentation. I told that story there in one slide. I told you that I took your permission that my next book I'm telling this story, but it's not your story. There are many stories coming from students, and I find that they are very simple thing they are telling. But as you understand the narrative art, as you put it into the story format, it communicates a message. So focus on what is the message, how this message can be valuable to the audience, and then use the narrative framework. I mean, we can talk about narrative framework in another time. I mean, if you want to dive into that, then you will see that normal story becomes extraordinary story.
Of course, of course. Even my story even sounds better on your voice, because of the delivery is also associated of how you tell the story, how you make the audience feel, and where you should keep the emotions to deliver the message. And the key point here is the takeaway for the audience as well. What they are learning from this story, what is their key takeaway, is also something that we should consider. As you mentioned, that connection creates better networking. Connection is where people find your story more appealing. So, Dr. Moin, I think there is one thing that we always want to mention. Even if we all have a regular job, probably someone of us are studying or doing our own job, this story making or telling our story or crafting the perfect story is very much time consuming as well. So there is, in this AI and social media age, everything can be done using the AI tools as well. We are living in a time when ChatGPT can write your bio and Instagram can become your portfolio. How do you see these tools shaping the personal branding? What's the secret sauce here, if you can shed light on this?
Yeah, this is, to be honest with you, this has brought us into the crossroad of doing right things and or exploiting things. So this is part of life. So ChatGPT and all other AI tools is like Google that you use to find information and also use today. If you think that you will not use it, you will be behind, because that can make your job very easy. So that can put your idea together that can give you some draft version, or say that can bring the ideas together. But I will warn one thing is that don't lose your voice as you use these tools. Because fortunately, I managed to write a chapter in my book, Creativity in the Imagination is the Magic at the Intersection of Mind and Machine. So before ChatGPT came, actually, because I was foreseeing that. But so what I'm trying to say that it has to be magic at the intersection of mind and machine. Don't depend on the machine absolutely. So you make sure that your voice is resonated, even if you take the support from ChatGPT and other AI tools. And how you can do that? You can give prompt takes a step by step. Don't ask everything at one go. Let ChatGPT understand or develop an understanding about yourself. Discover who you are, what is your voice. First you say that this is me, this is what I want to believe, this is the way I want to make an impact into this world, this is my tone. Okay, can you help me find out something? So they find out some idea, generate the idea, then you make your own version. You can get it polished, but if you absolutely give the task to ChatGPT, yes, you can start with. If somebody is struggling to start, then that's fine. I would recommend that, okay, you use that. But don't actually find the voice the way ChatGPT speaks. Because if you generate idea, then if you do your thing, your development will be better. Otherwise, what will happen that you will be, the delivering content, and the content will have the soul missing. Everybody has a soul. Like when I'm talking to you or when I'm talking now, I'm not actually looking at the camera. And if you ask many producer or many people, they said, no, you should have looked at the camera. Yes, that's right. They are right. But as I'm talking, I'm thinking. So when I'm thinking, I cannot look at something, because I have to go into my
We are only
imaginary world.
human.
Yeah, I'm living in my world. So that is what is me. So what I'm saying that when you tell a story, you have to bring the audience into your story world. So yeah, all these tools are fascinating. They will help you. They will bring power. But again, what you have to bring into the table is you. So yes, use them. And if you are not using them, you will be behind. But as you use them, make sure that your voice is not lost. Yeah, that's my advice.
Right, Dr. Moin. I think tools can help, but you need to know how to utilize it in the right order, putting soul into your voice and using it as a powerful tool to voice your thoughts, not ChatGPT's thought or the AI's thought.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, Dr. Moin, as we are live on 3 different platforms, our audience is also interacting with us. I think I have got some questions. Our producer just sent it to me that our audience would like to ask you. So this is a Q&A session. So anyone who's watching, you can leave your opinion or your comment in the platform wherever you're watching this. We will try to take the questions. So Dr. Moin, the first question we have received is, hi Dr. Moin, I'm just starting to build my personal brand as a job seeker. There are so many platforms out there, LinkedIn, Instagram, even YouTube. Which platform would you recommend for someone just starting out? I'm a student and currently looking for my job.
Okay, I will say that if you start very slim, start with LinkedIn, make your profile and join the professional world. So you can see that what professionals are discussing. So you just open the door and join the professional world before you actually come to industry, and start making posts, start making comment, start following people that resonates your heart, or those could be your role model. But at the same time, I will say that at least with this LinkedIn, at least go for YouTube or Instagram. Or maybe, Twitter is, to be honest, your X handle. Here you can actually share. It's like kind of messenger. But what I'm trying to tell you is that YouTube might be a very good platform, because here you are creating some content. And don't worry about the standard. You start creating, because standard will come, it will emerge. So that is very important, that you start unleashing your creativity. So if you can start working on many platforms, that's fine, but start with LinkedIn and soon also get the YouTube. And because YouTube is like you are sharing video, so it has got many things. So you are writing, you are making the video, you are thinking, storytelling. So it will give a total immersion. Total immersion. That is, and it will evolve over time, but also the conversation with the professional world. So these two.
Right, makes sense. Our next question is that I keep hearing that I need to define my niche, but what does that actually mean in the context of personal branding? How do I find my niche if I'm still figuring out what I want to do?
Okay, so basically your niche is like segmentation. So you see the brand when what they do, STP, the segmentation, targeting and positioning. So you divide the market, that is art of dividing the market is segmentation. You can divide by demographic, but that's not very meaningful. You have to bring other things, so psychographic, behavioral and all those things. So then you target a group that where your strength is good, that you can deliver value and they will be benefited. So like you see, somebody liking, say, Nike and somebody liking Burberry is two different customer group. Both the brands are very, very powerful brand, Burberry and Nike. Somebody flying, says, Ryanair and somebody flying, say, British Airways. Both the brands are successful, but they have a different story. They are serving different group of customers. They are solving different problem. So yes, the question you have asked, that what is my niche, that first it's a very good first step. And then you position yourself so that your niche recognize you. But the problem is when you are, say, let's discuss with YouTube, if you want to be absolute clear, you will not be absolute clear because you do not know. So yeah, so start making content based on your passion as well as your skill. Say if you are good in, if you are, say, fascinated about football and the World Cup tournament is coming, maybe you can start making a channel where you will give updates about football, or you want to say that how football can change our life. It's like, say, and then eventually as you start making video, eventually you will discover that your niche. So you should not have absolute clarity to start with. You should start with your passion and purpose and some analysis about your audience so that you target it. But it may not be absolutely correct, but you start your journey. And along the way, you will see that some people are with you on the way. Those are your the niche. So it is the point where both your audience and you will dance. Your audience will dance because they are enjoying and they are contributing. They got a platform for conversation. You will dance because you can contribute. But it will not happen one day. You will have to learn how to dance in the rain. So that means you will face some challenges in the initial days, but consistency matter.
Right. Thanks for answering to that. One last question. I think this is a very good one, and I'll just have a very short question for you. Is it necessary to post regularly to build a strong brand? I'm worrying about overdoing or running out of things to say. How often do you recommend posting, or in the context of, I think especially in the LinkedIn, she's referring to LinkedIn. So how often she
Okay,
should post on LinkedIn?
I think for LinkedIn, I mean, whatever may be the social media, if you can find your frequency, that is important. So I would say that if you are really trying to get into the industry, I would say post at least twice, because many people will think that, oh, twice. No, twice is nothing. You can even post every day, but okay, don't. So post at least twice a week. Twice a week. I mean, if not twice a week, at least once a week to start with. But what is important is that maintain the consistency. So for students, it's very easy because you are attending the classes and you are learning new concepts. And you can just write a small post about what you have learned. You can just share your diary, the intellectual diary of intellectual journey. There are many people. Think about as a British student going to a very renowned university and he is learning things every day. I tell my student that why not you share your knowledge every day in some form, because there are many students across the world who has got desire to come and study in this university, but they somehow could not. You are making a big help for them. So to them, post consistency is important. If you can post once a week, do that. But I would say once a week will be, twice a week will be better. So frequency matters.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Moin. This has been such an rich and eye-opening conversation. I mean, I had this kind of conversation like 2 years back with you, but today it was very refreshing. the ideas were new, and you could explain it, and it makes more sense to me at this moment. So whenever you're in the process, initially it doesn't make sense, but eventually it does. So thank you for helping us to see that personal branding, it is not just for someone, although today's agenda is for the job seekers, but it is not only for the job seekers, it is for the influencers or entrepreneurs or someone who's working for an industry for a very long time. Everyone can use the personal branding to get to their desired role that they've been eyeing for a very long time. So, Dr. Moin, do you have any suggestion or advices to our audience before we wrap up this session?
I mean, yeah, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share and to contribute, because for me it's all about opportunity to contribute. If this podcast inspire one person and one person to do a good job, or one person to take a commitment to make a better world on his or her level, I think we don't have to seek more than that. We should be happy because of for that opportunity to contribute. So thank you for that. My advice is that you start. You see, you have a purpose into this world. Otherwise, you would not have been created. There are so many people. God has created you because God has a role for you. And you have to find out that role and you have to contribute. Have a big dream. Think that nothing will be achieved easy. And if something is achieved easy, it will not give you pleasure. So that's, if you really want to find fulfillment, find pleasure, you have to achieve it through hard work. So enjoy the hard work, enjoy the journey. That is very, very important. Do the right things. When there are millions of wrong ways, it is your ability to choose the right thing that differentiates you. Have patience, but also have patient perseverance. There is a nice poem actually written, it's like Carry On. I used to read sometime when I was doing my MBA at a Strathclyde University, and I was in the new environment and I was struggling to cope. And it is the poem for, the soldiers. So you can consider reading that. So I'll just tell you maybe 2 or 3 lines so that you understand that what is the message I'm trying to tell you. So the poem is Carry On. So it starts with, it's like this, that it's easy to fight when everything is right and you are mad with the thrill and the glory. It is easy to cheer when victory is near, and hollow in the field that are gory. It's a different song when everything is wrong, when you are feeling infernally mortal, when it is 10 against 1, and hope there is none. Buck up, little soldier, and chortle. So try to sustain in the bloody battlefield. Life is all about test, and you have to survive.
Of course, what a way to finish this session with this lovely piece of poem that you've shared with us. And of course, your humbling words and kind words will inspire our audience and let them come forward with their own stories.
Okay, yeah. One story at a time.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Moin, for being here. To all our listeners, thank you for being a part of this. If you have found something helpful today, go ahead and share it with someone who's looking to get into the job market, thinking about a startup or wondering how to tell their own story. If you have registered with us, we'll send a copy of this session with you. You can also find it on our YouTube channel. And don't forget to drop us any questions if you like us to address. In the future, we can have another session with Dr. Moin, like this enlightening one. So with that, we can conclude our today's session. This is Nafis Alam signing off from the Study Abroad podcast live at London School of Leadership, Investment and Technology. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and keep sharing your stories. Goodbye.